the worthy one. In Avengers Endgame, when everything seemed lost and Thanos was about to finish Thor, the impossible happens. Mjolnir, Thor's legendary hammer, begins to move on its own and flies straight into the hand of It was the confirmation of what fans had suspected since Age of Ultron, when Cap almost lifted the hammer as a joke. But this time there was no joke. He was truly worthy. And when he holds Mjolnir together with the shield, what follows is a true spectacle. Lightning, powerful blows, and Thanos getting attacked. Thor on the side says, "I knew it." With that grin of someone who was just waiting for the perfect moment to watch a friend shine. This scene became a milestone in the MCU, and I'm sure if you watched it in theaters, you screamed along with the audience. Thor in Wakanda. The Battle of Wakanda is at its limit. The Outriders advance in massive numbers, and the remaining heroes struggle to hold back the attack. Captain America and Black Panther are exhausted. Bruce Banner, inside the Hulkbuster, tries to stop the enemy invasion. Defeat seems inevitable. Screams echo, dust covers the battlefield, and despair grows by the second. Then something changes. A thunderbolt cuts through the sky, illuminating everything in a blue flash. The Bifrost opens in the middle of darkness, and a beam of light descends with a deafening thunderclap. Thor appears holding Stormbreaker, surrounded by lightning. Beside him, Rocket Raccoon and Groot survey the chaos with determined expressions. The Outriders charge, but are immediately swept away by a massive explosion of energy. The axe slices across the battlefield like living lightning, and the God of Thunder charges forward, easily destroying enemies. The impact is devastating, and the Avengers look relieved. Hope has returned. Bruce Banner, excited, yells. Thor lands among the wreckage, his gaze fixed and his eyes glowing with pure electricity. He raises Stormbreaker, ready for the final confrontation, and commands with a voice full of fury, "Bring me Thanos!" The snap. After his arrival in Wakanda, Thor charges at Thanos with Stormbreaker in hand, full of rage and thirst for revenge. He swings the axe with force, delivering devastating blows that pierce the Titan's defenses. Each impact is overwhelming, and even Thanos, injured, can feel the weight of the God of Thunder's power. Thanos tries to defend himself and retaliate. Thor's fury seems unstoppable. As he gets close, Thor aims and drives Stormbreaker into Thanos' chest. The blow is brutal, and any other being would certainly not survive it. Thor, looking at the Titan on the verge of death, is satisfied, ready to finally get revenge. He stares at Thanos and says with contained rage that he will die for this, but Thanos, even wounded, looks at him with an ironic smile and replies that he should have gone for the head.
You should have gone for the head.
Before Thor can react, Thanos snaps his fingers using the Infinity Gauntlet. Suddenly, half of all life in the universe vanishes. Many heroes, Wakandan soldiers, and allies turn to dust before Thor's eyes. The God of Thunder stands frozen in disbelief. The perfect blow wasn't fatal, and he witnesses Thanos' victory to the head. But it seems Thor learned well from his mistakes. The Garden, an isolated and silent planet, is the setting for one of the most brutal scenes in Avengers Endgame. Thanos is there, wounded, alone, reflecting on the snap that erased half of all life and living quietly, away from everything. The Avengers finally find him, determined to retrieve the Infinity Stones and undo the devastation he caused. But the discovery is devastating. Thanos has destroyed all the stones to prevent any reversal, and now there is no hope. Thor's rage and frustration explode. He stares at the Mad Titan with eyes full of fury, remembering his failure in Infinity War and all the suffering caused. Without thinking twice, he wields Stormbreaker and charges at Thanos.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly.
In a quick and brutal movement, Thor swings the axe and decapitates Thanos in a precise strike. The shock is immediate. Even with Thanos dead, the Avengers realize nothing has changed. The stones are gone and half the universe remains lost. Man, having a scene like this at the beginning of the movie already showed that Endgame was going to be something incredible to watch. The Shield. In Civil War, the tension is high. In a cold, silent bunker in Siberia, Tony Stark watches an old recording, and his eyes flare with rage when he sees the Winter Soldier intercepting the Stark's car in 1991. Howard and Maria Stark are murdered, and the weight of the loss explodes. Anger turns into action. Tony attacks Bucky with everything he's got, firing blasts and punches while Steve tries to intervene, protecting his longtime friend.
It wasn't him!
The fight quickly becomes 2 against 1. Despite his damaged armor, Tony shows impressive strength, ripping off Bucky's bionic arm with a brutal blow. Steve holds firm, blocking hits, dodging, trying to control the situation. But Tony's rage is unstoppable. With Bucky out of action, Steve turns to Tony. The blows crack Tony's mask, leaving his face exposed. Steve raises the shield and smashes it onto the arc reactor with precision. Right after, Steve stands up and reaches out to help his friend. But Tony yells that he doesn't deserve that shield. It belonged to his father.
That shield doesn't belong to you. You don't deserve it. My father made that shield.
Steve then drops the shield to the ground, leaving it behind. The battle ends, but not without consequences. The friendship is destroyed, and the Avengers divided. Brutal fall. Still in Civil War, in the middle of the airport fight, Vision tries to aim at Falcon with an energy beam from the Mind Stone, but something goes wrong. The shot is deflected and directly hits the arc reactor of Rhodey's armor. War Machine's suit instantly malfunctions, and Rhodes loses all control. He plummets from a great height, spinning through the air as Tony Stark and Falcon desperately try to help him. The impact is brutal. The armor absorbs part of the force, but not enough to prevent severe damage. Rhodes crashes to the ground. The suit's protection saves his life, but Rhodey's spine suffers serious consequences. Later, he appears doing physical therapy, supported by biotic leg braces developed by Tony Stark, trying to regain his mobility. The lawyer. In Aunt May's apartment, Peter Parker is still trying to deal with the chaos caused after Spider-Man's identity is exposed. While discussing solutions with May and Happy, the door opens and Matt Murdock enters, calm and confident. He has already solved Peter's immediate legal problems, but makes it clear that the public fallout will make everything more complicated. As he explains the situation, a brick thrown by an angry protester accompanied by a note. Without hesitation, Matt turns and catches it precisely, keeping a firm, calm posture as if it were nothing. Peter watches, stunned, unable to believe how fast and skilled the blind lawyer is. Still shocked, Peter asks how that was possible. Matt simply smiles slightly, radiating confidence, and casually replies that he's a really good lawyer.
I'm a really good lawyer.
The scene also marks the integration of Daredevil, played by Charlie Cox, into the MCU, the Spiders. Ned's house, the atmosphere is tense. Peter Parker, devastated by Aunt May's death, disappears. Ned and MJ, desperate to find him, try to use Doctor Strange's sling ring, believing they can bring him back. The ring glows, a portal opens, but the person who comes through is not the Peter they expected. A Spider-Man steps through, fully suited and on alert. It's Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker. He looks around, confused, but quickly realizes he's not in his own world. Tension quickly turns into confusion and laughter when MJ demands he prove he's really Spider-Man, and he simply climbs the wall like it's nothing. Before they can understand what happened, Ned tries to open another portal.
Hello.
This time, who appears as Tobey Maguire's Peter Parker. He shows up calmly, without his suit, but with the same expression of someone who has seen a lot. As soon as the two see each other, there's a brief moment of suspicion, and Tobey shoots a web at him, almost like a silent duel between versions of themselves. After talking, they realize they need to find the Peter Parker from that world, the one played by Tom Holland. And then we get the meeting of 3 generations of Spider-Man in an emotional scene where they share their pain. Something common in the life of every Spider-Man. Anyone who saw it in the theater for the first time knows how special that moment was, and how it became a historic cinematic event. Fight on track. The scene of Ivan Vanko's attack in Iron Man 2 is one of the most memorable moments of the entire trilogy, especially for introducing Tony Stark's iconic portable armor, the Mark V. It all begins in Monaco during the Grand Prix, where Tony casually decides to race with his own Formula One car. The atmosphere is pure fun and luxury until Vanko appears wielding 2 giant electric whips, tearing apart the asphalt in a storm of sparks and destruction. Tony is caught off guard without his traditional armor. Chaos spreads across the track as cars explode and metal debris flies everywhere. In that moment, Happy Hogan and Pepper Potts run desperately with a red suitcase, Tony's last resort. He grabs it, throws it on the ground, and in a swift motion, activates the mechanism that transforms the suitcase into a compact armor. The pieces fold and connect around his body with mechanical precision, creating an impressive visual sequence. The helmet closes last, revealing the Mark V. Silver and red, thinner and lighter than the others, but still with Stark's unmistakable style. Even without the full power of bigger suits, Tony fights Vanko with speed and strategy, dodging attacks and winning the battle in the end. The sacrifice. On the planet Vormir, Natasha Romanoff and Clint Barton arrive at the edge of a cliff, guided by Red Skull, the keeper of the Soul Stone. He explains the cruel rule. To obtain the stone, they must sacrifice something they love, a soul for a soul. The two immediately understand the weight of the situation, knowing that only one of them can survive to complete the mission. Natasha and Clint soon realize that the sacrifice is inevitable. In a tense and emotional fight, they try to stop the other from jumping. Clint insists that he should be the one since he has a family and needs to return to them. Natasha, firm and determined, refuses, protecting not only the mission but ensuring Clint can survive to fight another day. The two start a physical struggle and Clint jumps, but Natasha doesn't let him fall. The decisive moment comes when Natasha uses Clint's own grappling line to hold him, and with one last effort, throws herself into the void. Clint tries to hold on to her, but she lets go, falling off the cliff. The fall is fast and brutal, and Natasha dies before Clint's eyes, fulfilling the sacrifice demanded by the stone's keeper. Moments later, Clint wakes up elsewhere and finds the Soul Stone in his hand, confirming that Natasha's heroic act was successful. First appearance. Spider-Man's appearance in Captain America. Civil War is one of the most exciting moments of the film, and marks the character's official debut in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. During the airport battle, the Avengers are divided between Captain America's team and Tony Stark's. That's when Iron Man reveals his new secret weapon, a teenager from Queens named Peter Parker. The hero's entrance is quick and stylish. Suddenly, a web sticks to Captain America's shield, ripping it out of his hands. Steve Rogers, shocked, looks up to see Spider-Man landing with the shield and saying a simple and funny,
Hey everyone.
Good job.
even being the youngest and most inexperienced, he shows confidence and excitement, along with some nervousness for fighting beside heroes he has admired since childhood. His suit, created by Tony Stark, is modern and full of tech, with expressive eye lenses that move. But the excitement doesn't stop there, because right after that, one of the most epic Hero vs. Hero battles fans had waited years to see finally begins. It was a real roller coaster of emotions. The final snap, the death of Tony Stark in Avengers. Endgame is one of the most emotional and defining moments of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. At the climax of the battle against Thanos, chaos takes over the battleground as each hero fights desperately to prevent the Mad Titan from using the Infinity Stones again. Amid the confusion, Tony realizes there is only one chance to win. When Thanos tries to snap his fingers again, Tony approaches and, in a quick and clever move, transfers the Infinity Stones to his own armor. Thanos looks confident, believing he has won, but realizes too late what happened. Tony raises his hand, now with the stones glowing in his fingers, and calmly says one of his most iconic lines before snapping his fingers.
And I am Iron Man.
The surge of energy is devastating. Thanos and his army begin to disintegrate, defeated once and for all. But the cost is too high. Tony's body is overwhelmed by the power of the stones, leaving him on the brink of death. Rhodes and Peter arrive first, trying to comfort him. Peter begs him to stay, but Tony is already too weak. Pepper approaches, holds his hand, and with a trembling voice tells him that he can finally rest.
You can rest now.
The arc reactor on his chest slowly fades, marking the end of the hero who started it all. A silent but epic farewell to Iron Man. Which of these moments moved you the most? Comment down below. Also, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos. On the screen, there's a video showing every time Iron Man learned from his mistakes and evolved. Click and watch. See you there.